Hi, my Inquisite learners. So once again, welcome back to your grammar sessions, and you are right here at your own learning platform, Learn Forward. And we are here together with your grammar book, the Grammar Hub for Grade 8 by Feather Cap. Going ahead now, today we'll be learning in detail about relative clauses, the adjective clauses. This is chapter 15 of your book. You have already learnt about phrases and clauses. I hope you remember them and you have practiced them also. So let's get started with adjective clauses, the relative clauses. What is a relative clause? It qualifies a person or a thing. What's the function of an adjective? Adjectives, they tell you about a noun or a pronoun, isn't it? So similarly, the relative clauses, they qualify a person or a thing in the principal clause. So they are also called adjective clauses, right? Now, for example, this is the boy. Now, when we are describing boy as who met me in the market. So, who met me in the market is describing the boy you are talking about. That means this is an adjective clause. Where is the ball which I bought from the market? So, you are talking particularly about the ball, the one that you bought from the market. So, this is describing your ball. That is, again, it is playing the role of an adjective. So, this is an adjective clause. The car by which I go to my office is out of order. So, which car are you talking about? By which you go to office. Now, do you know the man? Which man? Whom I was talking to. So, this whom is helping you connect this. That is an adjective clause. The time. Which time are you talking about? When he will arrive here. So, again, an adjective clause here. The town. Which town? Where I was born is situated on the bank of canal. So, this is all these are adjective clauses. Somewhere they are describing persons, they are describing things, or they may be describing places, time, anything is possible. Now, what you have to remember is we use who, whom, whose when we talk about people. We use who is particular, he, who is used in place of he, she, they. That means when we are talking in subjective form. Whom is used when we talk in objective form, and whose is used when we talk in possessive form. So we can write here, this is the nominative case. I hope you remember the cases in pronouns. The nominative case means you are using it as a subject. So who is used as a subject, whom is used as object, and then whose is used for possession, possessive cases, right? Coming to next is which or that. It is used when we talk about things. That is generally used when we talk about persons and things together, and which is specifically used for things. When is used when we talk about time, and where is used when we talk about, yes, place. So you have to just remember these conjunctions. Defining and non-defining clauses is next in adjective clauses. What you have to remember in relative clauses or the adjective clauses, there are two types of clauses. One is the defining relative clause. So defining relative clause, in that we talk more about something, some person, place, thing, whatever you are talking about, but you talk something additional about it. So that is not a specific noun you are talking about, but out of the whole lot, you are focusing on it by using some additional information. So how do you say that? My brother, who is a teacher, lives in Agra. That means you are just describing your brother. Which brother are you talking about? So it shows that you have more than one brothers, and out of them you are talking about the one who is a teacher and he lives in Agra. So this is called the defining clause, because you are defining the noun there, you are defining your brother there. The boy. Now there are so many boys. Which boy are you talking about? Who came to me yesterday. So again you are defining, now you are talking about the boy who came to me yesterday is a good player. This is more information about the same boy. Now the book. Which book? That you want. Particularly the book that you are looking for is out of print. That means it is not available. So here what is happening, students? These nouns are followed by the adjective clauses which are actually defining them. So they are called defining relative clauses. Now the next category is the non-defining relative clauses. Now, non-defining relative clauses is just an additional information about the noun, about the person, place or thing you are talking about. So, these non-defining relative clauses are separated using comma before and after the clause. Like if you say, my brother who is a teacher lives in Agra. Now, that means you have just one brother and you are talking about him, you are giving an additional information about him, that my only brother who is a teacher lives in Agra. Next, the boy. So you are talking about a particular boy and giving an additional information about that boy who came to me yesterday. So you are separating, here you are separating using comma before and after the clause. But when we are using the same clauses as defining, then you do not separate them using comma. And one more important thing to remember is you use that only in case of defining clauses. Like look at the third sentence, the book which you want is out of print. So here you are using which, but in case of relative clauses which are defining, you will use the word that. Okay. You just have to note that this comma, separating the clauses using comma before and after them is very important. So what you have to remember, a few points are here. Relative pronoun that is used, I just mentioned, only in the relative defining clauses in place of who, whom or which, right? Next is, if the antecedent of relative clause is father, mother or such relationship in which you actually don't need to define. When you talk of your father, do you really need to tell something to define him? No. So in such cases, or if you are talking about the principal of your school, or if you are talking about the prime minister of your country, so do you need to define them? No, they are just one. So in such cases, we always use the non-defining relative clauses only. My father, see, we are using comma to separate. My father, who is 75 years old, is still very active. Our principal, again just one. Everybody knows who is your principal, who is a good administrator. So I'm using commas, I'm using the non-defining relative clauses here, is very kind also. After a name also, because when we are talking about somebody with his or her name, that means we are being specific about that noun. So here, if you are telling something additional, that becomes your non-defining relative clause, like Mohan, who is my friend. So you are just adding something to it, something additional is coming here. So this is your non-defining relative clause. Mohan, who is my friend, is very sincere. That is why we are just separating them using comma before and after the clause. Now, relative clauses are generally used to join two sentences. Now, if the two sentences are, the teacher caught a boy red-handed, he was copying. So when you join them, what will you say? The teacher caught a boy red-handed who was copying. I purchased a pen. The pen is very costly. So which pen are you talking about? The pen which I purchased. So the pen which I purchased, this is defining it, is very costly. Next, yesterday you went somewhere. Show me the place. Show me the place where you went yesterday. So you are talking about the place. Which place? Where you went yesterday. So that is your defining relative clause. Lucky lived in the forest. Wordsworth loved her. So this is Wordsworth loved Lucky. Which Lucky? Who lived in the forest. You are defining her. Now here's an assessment for you. Pick the correct option. A relative clause is, what is it also called? An adjective clause. Perfect. Which word do we use in relative clause for talking about people? Do you use who, whom, whose, or you use all of these? Yes, we use all of these in different cases, may it be subject, object, or to show possessions. I know a person dash always believes in honesty. So which word will be perfect here? I know a person which always believes, that always believes, whom always believes, or who always believes. Who always believes is perfect. The word where is used in relative clause when you talk about place. So simple. Yes, when you are talking about place. Now in the next exercise, fill in the blanks using who, whose, whom, when, where, which, and that. So you just have to remember for which word do we use them and in which case do you use them. Just keeping that in mind will do them. I met a man dash always deals in honesty. So here we are talking about the subjective case. It will be who always deals in honesty. Good. Next, they live in a town. Dash is situated on a river bank. So we are talking about a place. This is which is situated. Perfect. Next, some students dash read in our college are very friendly. Here you can use that also because this is a defining clause and we learnt that that is used only in defining clause, not in the non-defining relative clauses. Some students dash read in our college are very friendly. So we are talking about the students in subjective case. It will be who again. So reason out every time you fill a blank with a word, reason out why you are using there and you'll go perfect. Let's randomly take something else. I will try my best dash I can do. I'll try my best who I can do, whose I can do, whom I can do, when I can do, where I can do, which I can do, or that I can do. So what will come here? Which or that? It is that I can do because this is a defining relative clause, right? So this is how you'll be ruling out the words and finding out the perfect one. Next, combine the following sets of sentences into one by using relative clauses. Let's try this. A young boy helped the old man. He was trying to cross the road. Now, what you have to see in these two sentences, what is being talked about in the sentence that you are trying to make a relative clause. So here, when you see he was trying to cross the road, who was trying actually? The old man. So we'll combine it like a young boy helped the old man. A young boy helped the old man who was trying to cross the road. Right? Now, what you have to take care when you are joining these sentences, this part should be as close as to the antecedent because this is describing the old man. So the relative word relative pronoun should be very close to its antecedent. We have learnt about relative pronouns and antecedents. This is the relative pronoun, this is the antecedent. So make sure that they should be as close as possible. Now look at the second sentence. You'll better know from that. A young lady opened the door. She welcomed us warmly. Now how will you join them? Can you say a young lady opened the door who welcomed us warmly? Is it the correct one? Just see what meaning it gives you. Let's read it out again and see how funny it becomes. A young lady opened the door who welcomed us warmly. Now, what is the relative pronoun here? Who. What is the antecedent here? The door. So, do you think the door welcomed us warmly? No. And what did I tell you here? That your relative pronoun should be as close as possible to the antecedent. So, what is the mistake here? This is the description of the lady. So, this should come with the antecedent young lady. So, now let us see how we will write it correctly. This is wrong. You will say a young lady Describe the lady here. And this is a defining relative clause, so no commas. Who welcomed us? Who opened the door? Sorry. The young lady who opened the door. Welcomed us warmly. Now let us see what is the structure you have tried to put in. A young lady who, this is your relative pronoun, and you are talking about the antecedent young lady. So is it the young lady who opened the door? Yes, and that's perfect now. So a young lady who opened the door welcomed us warmly. This gives you the perfect sentence structure, right? So this way you will be doing all the sentences. I'm sure I have helped you on getting to the point how you have to take care of the position of your relative pronouns when you are using relative clauses. So just practice these sentences and we'll be coming forward with more interesting sessions for you ahead in grammar. Till then, happy learning, children.